It's Monday, March 21st. You are watching Nation Newsroom. I am Sathapat Pheu Thai.
And I'm Wichitra Dongdi. Tonight's top story, Libyan leader vows a long war against multinational force.
And Japan disaster's impact on Thai economy.
And a special talk by Kun Suthithayun and Kun Tunsathit Thaptim.
Coming up next.
Libyan leader vows a long war against multinational force after airstrikes and dozens of cruise missiles were launched. Coalition forces from France, the United Kingdom, United States, and other nations began striking the regime's military assets on Saturday, aimed at protecting Libyan civilians. The blasts came 2 days after the United Nations Security Council authorized international military action to enforce a no-fly zone over Libya. The Libyan government has claimed that 48 people, including women, children, and clerics, have died in ally attacks. Airstrikes last night in the heart of Gaddafi's Tripoli compound was the first reported attack on the Bab al-Azizia, a sprawling compound in the Libyan capital, that Gaddafi has used several times as setting for televised addresses and which was bombed by the United States in 1986. In response, Gaddafi vowed to fight on. In a phone call to Libyan state television Sunday, he said he would not let up on Benghazi and said that the government had opened up weapons depots to all Libyans who were now armed with automatic weapons, mortars, and bombs. Gaddafi promised that this was going to be a long war. Meanwhile, U.S. President Barack Obama vowed that he would not deploy any U.S. troops on the ground.
Armed Forces of the United States.
2 points. The U.S. Vice Admiral Bill Gortney, he has made a statement saying that the coalition forces were not targeting Gaddafi directly, but why would then bomb the very compound that Gaddafi resides and also made public speeches? Second point, why wouldn't the UN resort a dialogue, but instead preemptively initiating the no-fly zone?
Well, that is definitely something to think about. Anyway, all about the coalition military campaign is still very premature, and the future and the political future is very uncertain. Well, moving back to Thailand. The Thai Prime Minister convenes a meeting of his economic ministers today to assess the impact on Thailand from the natural disaster in Japan, saying that the auto parts industry might be temporarily halted. The massive earthquake that hit Japan on March 11 triggered a deadly tsunami, plus radiation leaks from the nuclear power plant, and the effect on trade and other ramifications are huge in scope. The Bank of Thailand and the Office of National Economic and Social Development Board reported on the impacts to the economic ministers meeting today that the situation in Japan will not affect the whole economic system. Initially, the Prime Minister accepted that the auto parts industry might be affected and could be temporarily halted due to the production capacity decrease in Japan. Moreover, the government will monitor the contamination from radiation exposure in 3 ways, including air, food, and people. Meanwhile, the Federation of Thai Industries, or FTI, suggests that the assessment of the impacts on production sector, import and export should be implemented because Japan is one of the major exporting countries selling products globally. Japan is one of Thailand's biggest trade partners, as trade volume between Thailand and Japan valued 1.48 trillion baht after the JTEPA agreement was enforced. Well, you know, another sector that is expected to suffer from the situation in Japan is tourism, but just for a short term.
And we're up for a special talk by Kun Tunsathit Thaptim and Kun Suthithayun. Let's hear them.
Monday, March 21st. After the no confidence debate in the House, I thought the follow-up comments would be against the government. But now why is it that most criticism, most commentaries are directed at Kun Mingkwan Sangsuwan, who led the debate against the government?
Well, actually, Kun Mingkwan did drop a bombshell after all.
He did?
But not on the government.
On who? On what?
On the party.
On his own party?
On his own party, by declaring that he is the real challenger for the Prime Minister post
Well, I thought that was what Kun Thaksin Shinawatra had assigned him to do.
Yes, and then maybe Kun Thaksin did not expect Kun Mingkwan to declare at Parliament that he is set to be the challenger of Prime Minister.
Very obvious, because he kept repeating towards the end of the debate when he had to make the concluding remarks. I think every 5 minutes he kept saying that I'm ready to compete with you, Kun Apisit, for the premiership. And I thought that was, part of the strategy. No?
Well, actually, it became a bombshell. And the following day, the party spokesman had to come out to say that the party had not made any decision on the new leadership of the party. And then Kun Chalerm Yuwadnung had to come out and declare that he's ready to quit politics.
Because of that?
Because of that.
Wow. So what is Kun Mingkwan going to do now?
Well, I don't know. On Sunday night, Kun Thaksin, it prompted Kun Thaksin to tweet after quite a long time.
And what was he tweeting about?
He's tweeting about the new leadership of the Pheu Thai party.
And did he sort of indicate that Kun Mingkwan was the choice?
He never mentioned Kun Mingkwan in his tweet at all. He just said that the party will name the candidate for the Prime Minister post only when the Prime Minister dissolves the parliament.
But I think Kun Chalerm said that Kun Yingluck Shinawatra, Thaksin's sister, was more suitable as Prime Minister and not Mingkwan.
We all know that Kun Chalerm and Kun Mingkwan just go back a long way. They do not see eye to eye at all.
Yeah. And what about Kun Yingluck? Why did Kun Chalerm keep talking about Kun Yingluck?
At least Kun Yingluck is someone very close to Kun Thaksin.
Yes.
And as far as Kun Chalerm is concerned, anyone close to Kun Thaksin is okay, as long as it's not somebody else. Kun Chalerm will not be happy if the like of Kun Mingkwan, or even if Kun Sudarat come back to politics. Kun Chalerm will not be happy about that. But as long as someone close to Thaksin come to the party leadership, he's okay.
Are you suggesting then that Pheu Thai is split now between factions that are for Mingkwan and those who are for Yingluck?
Yes, of course. But Kun Mingkwan, he has been trying very hard to lobby for support within the party.
Yes.
And we don't know how many people he already has under his wing at the moment.
Right.
He could create some problem for the party if he is disappointed at the moment. Because we all know that he has been very ambitious about being the next challenger of the Prime Minister post.
Kun Thaksin has been suggesting that the party leader does not necessarily have to be the next Prime Minister if his party won the election.
Well, that's a pretext that Kun Thaksin has been saying all along, that the management of the party is a different thing compared to management of the country. This is an excuse of that Kun Thaksin, of course, but it's a reasonable excuse. So anyone who leads the party will not necessarily be the next Prime Minister.
So it will be very interesting to see how Pheu Thai will carry out its campaign, whether it's going to raise the flag of Thaksin or to promote Mingkwan as the next Prime Minister or Yingluck.
Well, it will become what kind of message Kun Thaksin want to send out in the next election. If he selects Kun Mingkwan, of course, we will see some compromise in politics.
Yes.
But if he selects someone close to him like Kun Yingluck, we'll see a more aggressive message from the ousted leader.
Maybe Kun Thaksin has not decided on his strategy
He's
yet.
buying his time.
Because he says in his tweets that he doesn't even really believe that the Prime Minister Apisit is serious about dissolving Parliament. He says anything could happen from now on.
I think maybe he's trying to force Kun Apisit to dissolve Parliament as soon as possible so that he can name the next candidate.
Yes, so poor Mingkwan, I think he tried very hard to lead the debate this time, and when it ended, he should have been made the hero. But now I'm not too sure where he stands in the party.
That's all the time we have tonight, folks. Thank you for watching Nation Newsroom.
And don't forget to follow us on Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. on Nation Channel. Good night.
สวัสดีค่ะ